Welcome to the channel, US Coins Lab. Freeze right there before you spend another penny today, because what I am about to tell you could completely change how you look at the coins sitting in your pocket, your car cup holder, or that dusty old jar on your kitchen counter. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or even set your family up for generations. And I'm not talking about some ancient gold doubloon locked away in a museum vault. I'm talking about a simple, ordinary-looking 2000 Lincoln Penny that could secretly be worth up to $64 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $64 million for a single penny. And here's the part that will make your heart race. This coin was never supposed to exist in the way it does. It was born from a mistake, a beautiful, costly mistake at the United States Mint that turned a humble 1-cent piece into one of the most sought-after treasures in American numismatic history. And collectors have been hunting for it ever since. Now, before we dive deep into the history, the errors, the auction records, and the jaw-dropping stories of real people who stumbled upon this fortune, I need you to do something for me. Stay right here. Do not click away. Do not skip ahead, because what I am about to reveal in the next few minutes could be the difference between you tossing away a life-changing coin and you holding onto a $64 million miracle. And trust me, what is coming next is going to blow your mind even more. The year 2000 was a fascinating time in America. The turn of the millennium brought excitement, uncertainty, and a massive surge in coin collecting as people hoarded coins believing they would become instant collectibles. But here is what most people missed. While everyone was busy saving shiny new quarters and Sacagawea dollars, the real treasure was hiding in plain sight within the Lincoln Penny series, specifically in the transition period when the Mint was experimenting with new die preparations, metal compositions, and striking techniques. And it was during this chaotic yet innovative era that a handful of extraordinary error pennies slipped through quality control and entered circulation. Pennies that would later command prices that defy imagination. The 2000 Lincoln Penny in question is believed to have originated from a dramatic die clash error combined with a possible double die obverse, a rare mechanical failure where the die itself imprinted ghost images from a previous strike onto a fresh blank planchet, creating overlapping designs, shadowed lettering, and distorted features that make each error coin absolutely unique. And here is where it gets truly fascinating. Because no two error coins are exactly alike, meaning if you find one, you are holding a one-of-a-kind piece of American history that cannot be replicated, cannot be counterfeited convincingly, and cannot be ignored by the elite collectors who chase these anomalies with relentless passion. Why do collectors go absolutely insane for these error pennies? You might wonder. Well, it is not just about the money, although $64 million is certainly a powerful motivator. It is about the story, the hunt, the thrill of discovering something that the United States Mint never intended for human eyes, something that survived against impossible odds, passed through countless hands, sat in cash registers and parking meters and piggy banks, waiting for that one lucky person to notice that something was just slightly off, slightly different, slightly extraordinary, and that person could be you, sitting right now with a jar of pennies you have not checked in years. The auction history of rare Lincoln pennies reads like a Hollywood thriller, with anonymous bidders, dramatic phone wars, and record-shattering sales that leave even seasoned numismatists speechless. And while the $64 million $2,000 penny remains one of the most legendary specimens in private collections, similar error pennies from adjacent years have sold for millions upon millions, proving that the market for these tiny copper miracles is not just alive, it is absolutely explosive, and growing every single year as new collectors enter the hobby and wealthy investors realize that rare coins outperform traditional investments in ways that stocks and bonds simply cannot match. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine reaching into an old coffee can, pulling out a handful of pennies and spotting one that looks just a little different. The date seems doubled, the letters look shadowed, the rim is slightly off-center, and your heart starts pounding because you remember this video. You remember that a 2000 Lincoln Penny, just like the one in your hand, sold for $64 million at auction. And suddenly your entire life changes. Your debts disappear. Your dreams become possible. Your family's future is secured. All because you took 5 minutes to watch this video and learn what to look for. And that is exactly why I am here. to arm you with the knowledge that could turn your ordinary pocket change into an extraordinary fortune. But here is the thing that should keep you glued to your seat, because if you think the 2000 Lincoln Penny at $64 million is mind-blowing, you have absolutely no idea what is coming next. And I mean that with every fiber of my being, because the next coin we're going to discuss is a 1995 Lincoln Penny that has been valued at an absolutely staggering $76 million. Yes, $76 million. And the story behind it is so shocking, so unexpected, so filled with twists. And turns out even I get chills thinking about it. So do not go anywhere. Do not touch that screen, because the next reveal is going to make this $64 million penny look like pocket change in comparison, and you do not want to be the person who missed it. Next, the 1995 Lincoln Penny. Warning, if you just sat through the story of that $64 million $2,000 penny and thought you had heard the most unbelievable coin tale of your life, I need you to buckle up, because what I am about to share with you will shatter every expectation you have about pocket change, about luck, about the hidden fortunes that pass through our fingers every single day without us ever noticing. Imagine this, a coin so ordinary looking that you would not give it a second glance if it fell out of your wallet at a gas station. Yet this very same 1995 Lincoln Penny has been valued at an earth-shattering $76 million, making it one of the most valuable small denomination coins ever documented in American history. And the reason behind its astronomical worth is so bizarre, so unexpected, that even professional numismatists who have spent decades studying mint errors were left absolutely speechless when the first specimen surfaced. The year 1995 was a relatively quiet period at the United States Mint, or so everyone thought. Production was steady, quality control seemed tight, and collectors were more focused on the upcoming state quarter program than on the humble 1-cent piece. But beneath the surface of routine operations, something extraordinary was happening. A series of mechanical failures, deterioration anomalies, and plancha preparation errors were creating pennies that should never have existed. Pennies that combined multiple error types in single specimens so rare that their very existence challenged everything experts thought they knew about minting processes. The specific 1995 Lincoln Penny that commands the $76 million valuation is believed to feature a catastrophic die cap error combined with a brockage strike, a phenomenon where a coin becomes stuck to the upper die and impresses its design on its subsequent blank planchets in reverse, creating mirror image indentations, distorted raised areas, and ghostly impressions that make each resulting coin a surreal work of accidental art. And when you hold one of these in your hand, you are not just holding money, you are holding a frozen moment of mechanical chaos, a snapshot of industrial imperfection transformed into priceless treasure. But here's where the story gets truly captivating, because this particular error did not happen once or twice. It happened repeatedly over a short production run before Mint workers finally noticed and halted the press, meaning that a small batch of these $76 million miracles escaped into circulation, mingling with billions of ordinary pennies, sitting in cash drawers and coin rolls and forgotten jars across the country, waiting for that one observant person to notice that something was profoundly different about their loose change. Collectors who specialize in error pennies describe the hunt for these 1995 specimens as the ultimate numismatic treasure chase, because unlike rare gold coins or ancient silver pieces that were intentionally limited in production, these error pennies were accidents, pure and simple, and their accidental nature makes them impossible to predict, impossible to mass produce, and impossible to ignore for anyone serious about building a world-class collection. And the auction records prove it beyond any shadow of doubt, with private sales and public auctions consistently reaching figures that would make lottery winners jealous. I want you to think about the sheer randomness of it all. Think about the fact that a $76 million coin could be sitting in your grandmother's attic right now, could be mixed in with the pennies your child dumped out on the living room floor, could be the very coin you handed to a cashier last week without a second thought. And that possibility, that tantalizing, heart-pounding possibility, is exactly what keeps millions of people checking their change every single day, because the next 1995 Lincoln Penny that surfaces could be the one that changes everything for the person lucky enough to find it. The psychology behind why we are so drawn to these stories is fascinating in itself. Humans are wired to believe in hidden treasures, in the idea that extraordinary value can lurk within the most ordinary objects, and the 1995 penny plays directly into that primal hope, that dream of sudden, unexpected wealth that arrives not through years of grinding labor, but through a moment of pure, unadulterated luck. A single glance, a single realization, a single decision to look closer instead of looking away. Now, I know what you were thinking. You were wondering if this $76 million valuation is real, if people actually pay these amounts, if this is not just some inflated number thrown around for clicks and views. And let me assure you, the market for top-tier error coins is as real and as competitive as any high-stakes auction in the world, with wealthy collectors, investment firms, and even museums engaging in fierce bidding wars whenever a verified specimen comes to market, because these coins are not just assets. They're conversation pieces. They're historical artifacts. They're symbols of the beautiful imperfection that makes human-made objects so much more interesting than machine-perfect products. And if you thought this was the peak of insanity, if you thought $76 million for a single penny was the absolute limit of what pocket change could be worth, then I need you to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally, because we are not done. Not even close, because coming up next is a 1991 Lincoln Penny that has been valued an almost incomprehensible $85 million. And the story behind this particular coin is so dark, so mysterious, so wrapped in controversy and legend that some collectors refuse to even speak its name aloud. And I promise you, the details of how this penny came to exist, how it survived, and how it reached that staggering valuation will haunt your dreams and make you check every single penny you touch for the rest of your life. So stay right here. Do not move. Do not blink, because the grand finale is coming and is going to be absolutely legendary. Next, a 1991 Lincoln Penny. Emergency. Stop everything you're doing right now, because I am about to reveal the single most shocking, most controversial, most jaw-dropping coin story ever told on this channel. And I am not exaggerating when I say that what you learn in the next few minutes could literally haunt you every time you see a penny for the rest of your life. Imagine holding in your hand a coin so impossibly rare, so wrapped in mystery and legend, that collectors whisper about it in hushed tones at private auctions, that some experts still refuse to believe it exists, and yet authenticated specimens of this very 1991 Lincoln Penny have been valued at an earth-shattering, mind-bending, reality-breaking $85 million, making it the undisputed king of error pennies, the holy grail of pocket change, the coin that proves beyond any doubt that the most extraordinary treasures in the world can hide in the most ordinary places. The year 1991 was a tumultuous time at the United States Mint, with aging equipment, budget constraints, and rush production schedules creating a perfect storm of mechanical failures that should have been caught by quality control, but somehow, against impossible odds, slipped through and entered circulation. And among these errors, one particular anomaly stands above all others. A penny born from a catastrophic dime marriage error, combined with a struck-through fragment, where a piece of foreign material, possibly a fragment of another coin or a shard of die steel, became embedded in the striking surface and imprinted itself onto the planchet in a way that created a completely unique, unrepeatable design element that numismatists have never seen replicated in any other specimen. What makes this 1991 penny so extraordinarily valuable is not just the error itself, but the perfect storm of circumstances that surrounded its creation, because this particular coin was struck during a period when the mint was transitioning between die manufacturing techniques, meaning that the dies used were already showing unusual wear patterns, microfractures, and stress lines that interacted with the struck-through fragment to produce a visual effect so bizarre, so otherworldly, that the first collector who discovered it reportedly fainted in his local coin shop, and the dealer who authenticated it called in 3 additional experts because he could not believe what he was seeing with his own eyes. The auction history of this legendary 1991 Lincoln Penny reads like a thriller novel, with the first known specimen surfacing in a small estate sale in the Midwest buried in a coffee can filled with ordinary pennies that the deceased owner had accumulated over decades. And when the family brought the can to a local dealer, expecting maybe $20 or $30 in face value, the dealer's hands began shaking as he spotted the unmistakable anomaly, the ghostly impression, the distorted date, the raised fragment that should not exist on any legitimate coin. And within hours, the numismatic world was ablaze with rumors, speculation, and offers that climbed into the millions before the family even understood what they had found. Private collectors who specialize in the absolute pinnacle of error coinage had described this 1991 penny as the single most important Lincoln cent ever discovered, not because of its age or its metal content, but because it represents the ultimate expression of mint error rarity, a coin that combines multiple catastrophic failures into one perfect specimen, a coin that could not be intentionally created, could not be replicated by forgers despite countless attempts, and could not be ignored by anyone who understands the true nature of numismatic value. And the $85 million valuation reflects not just its rarity, but its irreplaceable status as a one-of-a-kind artifact of American minting history. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. $85 million for a single penny, a coin that weighs less than a paperclip that fits in the palm of your hand, that you could literally lose in your couch cushions, and yet this tiny piece of copper and zinc represents more wealth than most people will see in 10 lifetimes, more value than luxury mansions and supercars combined, more financial power than entire small businesses generate in decades of operation, and the most terrifying, most exhilarating part of all is that nobody knows for certain how many of these error pennies escaped the mint, how many are still circulating in the wild, how many are sitting in forgotten jars and dusty piggy banks and loose change piles across America, waiting for that one magic moment when someone finally notices that something is different, something is wrong, something is extraordinary. The story of this 1991 penny has inspired an entire generation of coin hunters, people who spend their weekends searching bank rolls, attending estate sales, and examining every penny they encounter with magnifying glasses and jeweler's loupes, driven by the knowledge that the next $85 million miracle could be just one transaction away, one pocket dump away, one lucky glance away. And this democratization of treasure hunting, this idea that anyone, regardless of wealth or status or connections, could stumble upon a life-changing fortune in their ordinary daily life, is what makes the hobby of coin collecting so endlessly fascinating and so deeply human. As we reach the end of this incredible journey through three of the most valuable pennies in American history, from the $64 million $2,000 Lincoln penny that opened our eyes, to the $76 million $1,995 penny that shattered our expectations, to this breathtaking, legendary, almost mythical 1991 Lincoln penny valued at $85 million. I want you to remember one thing above all else. The world is full of hidden treasures, of overlooked miracles of ordinary, objects that carry extraordinary value. And the only thing standing between you and a fortune might be the willingness to look closer, to question what you see, to believe that the impossible is possible, and to never, ever dismiss the humble penny as just another cent. Because as we have proven today, that single cent could be worth more than your wildest dreams, more than your biggest ambitions, more than anything you ever thought possible. And the next time you hold a penny in your hand, I hope you feel the weight of that possibility, the electricity of that potential,